Welcome to the Let's Talk Tri-Delta podcast. I'm Mindy Tucker, Tri-Delta's CEO. I'm so excited to welcome today's guest, Megan Jett Trottier, from our Phi Eta chapter at Texas Tech. She is the founder and CEO of Oh My Mahjong. Her Mahjong journey started when she was in her college days, but it really kicked into high gear when she rekindled her love for Mahjong during COVID. Lots of us found new things to do during COVID. As her passion for Mahjong deepened, it sparked an idea to create her own product line, and that line pays tribute to the game's rich heritage. And so today, she combines her passion for art with her love for Mahjong, aspiring to leave a lasting impact, transforming the ancient game into a medium that has for self-expression and creativity, and that everybody is starting to enjoy a whole lot more. So through the brand of Oh My Mahjong, she invites players to explore the beauty and joy of Mahjong, igniting their imagination and empowering them really to create their own traditions within this game. Her timing could not have been better. Mahjong has become an extremely popular game over the last few years. Everybody is into it. I feel like I hear about it all the time. So I can't wait to get her take on that and hear her story. And are you a Mahjong player? If not, maybe at the end of this podcast, you will be. I don't play, but I'm so excited to learn a little bit more and maybe find somebody who will finally teach me how to do this thing, how to play this game. So, Megan, I'm excited to hear from you today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
So let's go back to the beginning here for a minute. How did you decide to attend Texas Tech, and what brought you to Tri-Delta?
So I'm from West Texas, which I feel like West Texas girls go to Tech. Coming from West Texas, Lubbock seemed like a really big town. I remember driving into it when I moved, calling my mom, who was following me, saying, "This town's huge. I'm going to get lost," which is funny now because I'm in Dallas. And but it's just all perspective of coming from, a smaller West Texas town. So Tech was an easy choice, and then tried out. I was the first person in my family to really rush. So sororities were all new to me, but it was the place that I felt most at home. And the older girls within Tried Out that were rushing me, it just clicked. And I knew it was where I was supposed to be. And still, some of my lifelong friends are Tried Outs. One of the girls that does customer service for OMM is one of my sorority sisters that we ironically did like rush together, like we were in charge of it. So it's just funny how these relationships still come in, 20 plus years later.
Yes, they do. They do. I love that. It is a lifetime. You meet new people along the way who are Tri-Deltas, but you're also still so close to those ones that you were with in the chapter in your collegiate days. I love that.
Totally.
So you said that Mahjong, your love for Mahjong started in college. How did that come about? How did you learn about it, and what drew you to play?
So actually a Tried Out sorority sister, who was in my pledge class. She was a hoot of a person, and she had a love of games, gambling, all the things. She was just a riot. She was from Houston, and her grandmother played Mahjong. And so she knew Mahjong and would play. And spring break freshman year, she said, "I want to teach you this game." And I was always down for whatever. So there was a big group of us. Her mom was with us in Mexico, and they taught me Mahjong while everyone else went out and did whatever in Mexico during the day. And so we started playing, and then we lived together sophomore year, and we would play when we wouldn't go out at night. And there were two other girls that lived with us. And so we would all just get together and play, and then her and I would play. And so I loved it, but then it was not really a common game amongst young people. So I wanted to play it again, but never knew who to play with because no one knew what it was.
Right. Yeah. Not very prevalent.
No, especially in West Texas, it was not prevalent at all.
Imagine. Yeah. So fast forward a little bit. You're an artist. You have a family, you have a day job, but what sort of made you think, okay, I'm just going to drop everything now and turn this love of Mahjong into a business?
Yeah, so from college, I got a set when I graduated, never played again because, like I was talking about, who are you going to find to play? Come COVID 2020, spring of 2020, like May, a good mom friend was like, "I think we should pick up and all learn Mahjong together," to three other friends. And I was like, "Wait, stop. I'm so excited. I have a set I've had since college. Let's all play." So we started a weekly group that we would rotate home, sit outside, do all the things, and play Mahjong starting May of 2020. So through that, I was doing art on the side. I was doing medical sales, art on the side, and was doing some acrylic things and had a small manufacturer overseas. And my Mahjong group through the group was like, hey, why don't you make something for our tiles to sit in? And I was like, well, I have a manufacturer. Sure, why not? I had a small Instagram following.
Yeah.
And I got these boxes, like drew it out on a sheet of paper. I mean, it was real unprofessional. Sent it to him. I said, can you make these? He made them and I posted on Instagram and they sold. And I was shocked because it was selling way faster than the trays that I had made or anything else. And so it was just through that weekly group. Then the weekly group another night was like, hey, why don't you make a mat? Because it's so hard for us to remember which direction to go with this because there's a ton of little nuances in Mahjong. And so I was like, well, let's try that. And I made it and I sold it on my Instagram site and they sold again. And I was like, well, I think we maybe have something. So that was kind of the beginning of it. And, it was just everything that I would do with it, it would sell. And so I just kept seeing it picking up. And then it just, it slowly, quickly, but slowly turned to my full focus. And the other stuff just kind of slowly started to dissipate while I focused on that and came up with new ideas.
I love it. Um, Tell me a little bit about the business. Like, I think I know a couple of things that I want to touch on with you, but you talked about employing trideltas or a tridelta. Um, Female team. Have you sort of stepped into this as a female business owner?
Yeah, no, it's I can say who rules the world, moms and women do. I have such a strong team of working moms who just get stuff done. Like it is funny, we'll be on early, like at night, you can tell when the kids go to bed, we'll be messaging each other. But we have 18 people on our team now, majority women. We do have some great people in our shipping department that aren't. And I laugh every day with them that they're shipping Mahjong things because they're like at first they're like, what in the world is this stuff that we're shipping? So it's humorous. But the rest are for the most part all working moms. And I love it because they just know how to get in there and get stuff done. And so it's a cool environment. Kids pickups and kids drop off and you have a sick kid, like it's very flexible because
Yeah.
that's what I want in my job. Like it's important for me to be around my children, but also get to be a mom boss and be able to work and show them that mom can do stuff too.
Yeah. How do you think sort of the goals or values of Tridelta and your business align? Like, how did those two things come together for you?
Yeah, so I think tried out like it taught me a ton of stuff while I was there. It the aspect of rush and having to constantly talk to people gave me skills that like in my 20s I was like I couldn't interview for jobs had I not done rush.
Right.
I couldn't sell things had I not done rush. Those like early on years of teaching such important things have still carried with me, I think, to give me the confidence to where I am now, but especially in my 20s and 30s in sales and stuff, which then has led to helping sell Mahjong. And then I think like being able to work with women and getting to know the power of them and the relationships that can develop through that. So I was rush chair in college. And like I said, one of my sorority sisters who was reference chair, like now she does our customer service. So it's just those lasting relationships and like forming those relationships and the importance of them has carried on too with me.
Yeah, that's nice. I always love hearing the thread of what women pick up along the way in Tridelta and take with them, and experiences that you would never imagine would translate into your
No,
recruitment rush. Like, how would that translate into your business? But it has.
I mean, I think it makes you like you can talk to anyone, you're forced to find similarities with someone, but it helps so much with sales, which I feel like that's all propelled everything I've done to get me to where I am.
Yeah.
Kind of like a fearlessness because, it's just there's a lot and
Yeah.
being afraid to talk to a stranger. It was super beneficial.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, so here's your chance to be an ambassador for the game. Why should someone learn to play Mahjong? What do you feel like you get from this game?
So it's really fun. So just like talking about sorority and having like fellowship with your friends, this is a great way to have fellowship that is like a designated time that you have to put your phone down It's a very mentally stimulating game. So I wouldn't say like you can, if you're playing, like truly playing, like it's hard to, you can't really be on your phone. It's hard to, you can carry on conversation, but your phones are down, you're focused on the people sitting at the table. And then it's something that you can play forever. So I love that kind of like the relationships within Tried Out, how they, can be forever. Like this is something that starting at 20 and then I could still play at 90 years old. And the ladies that are playing at 90 are sharp as a tack. Like it's nuts. So it keeps you fresh and it maintains these friendships. Like even with the group I play with now, we're all in different places in life 5 years later, but we still every Wednesday night meet at 6:45. And I probably wouldn't see them. Yeah, there's probably one that I would see regularly. Other than that, I wouldn't see the other two, but we've kept in touch
For the game.
play Mahjong.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that you are passionate about in terms of starting the business and promoting the game is it's a way to create community.
Totally. And I think that's why it's done so well too. I think it's why it's really like propelled in the recent years coming out of COVID, and people are looking for like true connections and putting down the phones and having a way to connect and use your brain and not just feel like you're fried from watching TV or on your, doing things like that. And then it's also become this really beautiful thing. So especially in the South, everyone loves all the designs and layers and this and that. It's almost become like a tablescape. So I think it's fun to, when you host, you get to choose which mat you're going to use and which tiles and what accessories. And so it's almost this new like Southern tablescape of your Mahjong tablescape.
Yeah. I love that you've stepped right into that and given them sort of a creative way to play the game and express themselves. It's fun. It does look like a tablescape. When I see it, it's just beautiful. So
yeah.
So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. Where do you think your entrepreneurial spirit comes from?
It's a great question. I got career tested in my 20s because I was just kind of floundering in between, I was in retail, then I was in corporate, and anyways, I got tested and it came back that I would make a great entrepreneur. And I was like, what in the world does that mean? Like what kind of business am I supposed to do? Like it was, I mean, it just,
There's nowhere to apply for that.
oh, I'm like, how do you, like, I'm 25 years old. How do I become an entrepreneur? So I think the ability to like be resilient and pivot and make quick decisions, and not harp on things has given me a lot of strengths and entrepreneurship, being flexible. I think those are some things where they came from. I don't know, childhood, adapting. I don't know. But I think those are some of the really important things of, if something works, great. If it doesn't, we pivot. And it's just constant figuring out what it is to like go down the right path.
Yeah. What are some of the big lessons you've learned as and maybe some of the unexpected lessons you've learned in starting a business?
I think it takes a lot of work. I don't think I realized like the amount, like it's so much work, but it's so worth it. Like I'm big on like seasons of life, and I'm like, this season of life is like a hardworking season, but then I know another season maybe a lot more relaxing. I think there's a lot of sacrifices, which sometimes I'm like, well, what in the world am I doing? So those are just, high level lessons that you hear people say, but then when you experience them, it hits a little different.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think the value of being flexible is like one of the main things that I can say. And also find like if something bad happens, I'm like, there has to be a way to turn this into something positive. So
Yeah, I love that.
being able to like to fix, and it's true, like there we had this big kind of debacle in the fall, with some stuff, and I was just stressed to the nines for several weeks trying to figure it out. And now it's come out to benefit us immensely. But I think it's all the perspective we put on it. But I was like, I know this is going to be good. Just how do we turn it into that? Because right now I want to like pull my hair out. So I think always trying to like find the way to look at it from a positive perspective or the lesson it taught you, is really important.
Yeah. I love that. Lessons are good. Not always expected, but good.
Yeah, agreed.
So you just talked about hard work. And I love asking this question because I am one. I've got middle school boys downstairs doing who knows what at the moment.
Yep.
They all gather here after school. The beauty of working from home, I get more time with them, but also there's middle school boys downstairs.
Uh-huh.
how do you balance it all? You've got work, family, business. Like how do you do it?
I don't know. No, I mean, I feel like, like I was talking about seasons, like it is a lot of like family time and work because there's not a lot of time for other things right now. I have little boys, so I have a 7 and almost 9 year old in a couple of days, and then we have one in college. But so the little guys, it's like, trying to be available from 4 on. And then after they go to bed, I get on my computer. And there was a time in the fall that I was working every weekend. Now I'm like, okay, we're shutting the computer on the weekends. So it's just trying to give as much as I can to that. And then, knowing maybe in a couple of months, the more friendship stuff will come about, but it's kind of limited right now because between work and travel and kids, I'm like and husband, like those are the priorities at the moment. So it's just,
Yeah.
and being okay with that. Like, I'm like, it's just a season and in a couple of months, it will be slower. So it's just being okay with the spot
Yeah.
we're at.
I do agree with that. I do think you have to settle into the season concept that it might be hard for a month or two. You have this push or that push and it ebbs and flows. And
Really.
some things will be easier in 2 months and some things will be harder and you just sort of roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moms,
Yeah.
we're all resilient, right?
I mean, moms, it's just really remarkable to me, especially being in business now with all these moms. It's just what we can do while multitasking, while, we go to market in Atlanta and all of the, all the women on the team are moms. So husbands are calling and this is happening. And it's just, but they're just multitasking and getting it all done. It's nuts.
So funny. I was on a trip last week. I was actually out of the country, standing with a bunch of moms, and we were all dealing with stuff back home. And I was like, we are out of the country and we are still managing this.
We're still managing it all and getting it done probably more efficiently than the people back at home.
Yeah. I love it. Do your kids play the game?
Um, so the 9 year old will, I feel like the 7 year old, I don't have the patience for. So
Okay.
we do like we do an abbreviated kid version.
Okay.
Um, we're really into like chess as a family right now. So we'll play chess at nights. I would like to pivot into Mahjong, but it's almost like, I think because it is mom's game, they're like, mom.
Oh
So I'm like,
yeah.
but if I can play chess with you, I actually am really getting into chess with them. So I'm like, that's fun for me and it works my brain.
Yeah. You just care about the time with them too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's maybe one day they'll play with me.
So what's next for you and your company?
I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like I'm a very not like a crazy planner. I'm more about like seeing the opportunity and kind of being, this sounds really cheesy, but like a leaf down the river and like seeing where I'm supposed to go versus forcing it.
Yeah.
Uh, we have found that people love new stuff, so we keep coming out with new colors and new designs. We've gotten into Rummy Cube, which is another tile game,
Fun.
uh,
Yeah.
and made it pretty and cute. And so it's that, and it's coming out with more mahjong stuff, helping spread it. I feel like just like you were saying in California, it hasn't hit. Like I don't. There's so much more potential for mahjong to take off in certain areas.
Mhm.
So I think growing it and spreading it to more and more people and sharing the love of the game and something that can bring people together is the goal. And then all the cool stuff along the way, being open and receptive to it.
Yeah. Do you see younger generations, like younger people embracing it, or is that a growth market for you?
I think it's a huge growth market. I think sorority houses, like I would love to do stuff with tri-adult houses. Like there's so much growth within the college market. I think it's hitting, girls are doing it at camp now. They're doing it like mom and me classes. So I think
Mhm.
it's starting, but I think there's a lot of potential for that. And young brains get it really fast. Like
Sure.
they
Sure.
can get it and like people will be like, I taught my kid and they were kicking my butt in no time. Like it's, with the older brains, I'm like, it takes us longer. There's a
Takes
lot
a
more.
minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's nuts how their little brains can get it. So I think I don't see it going away. And I think it's just gonna become more and more popular
Yeah.
uh for younger people, which is cool because then a little girl can play with her great grandmother. Like I'm like, that's what's so
Same.
cool about the game.
I love that. That's what's fun about all the games I learned in my life, cards and stuff like that, I learned from my grandmother. So I think that's
Yes.
like it does sort of bridge that gap. Um,
Yes.
and I'm now that you've said college campuses and sorority house, like are we gonna see a Tri Delta branded mahjong?
I would love to do something with like, or with all the houses or, like, or do like, we could even do like a color, so something that's cool about my tiles is that they stay true to traditional Chinese images.
Right.
So they're all based on like the ancient Chinese tiles. And then they've just been updated with a lot of fun color.
Okay.
So it's something that could be really cool to do like a colorway with the stripes in the blues and yellows, and
Silver,
then
gold, blue,
a
yeah.
pansy for the flowers, or like stuff that I think it would be really cool. I would love to do more with Tri Delta with Mahjong, because I think it could be really a fun sisterhood activity for the girls.
Yeah, we have a board member who I know is probably listening and just lost her mind because she will think that is such a cool idea. So I'm excited to share that with her. I think it would be really, really fun to.
I think it would be awesome. I think there's a lot of potential there. So that can be, maybe by the end of 2025, we have something really cool coming out.
Love it. Good goals. Your leaf just floated down the river to us.
Yeah, no, I see it. Just these ideas, they come like, but I'm like, if you close it off, these ideas don't come. You've just got to talk through it and stuff comes.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay, how can our listeners follow you, buy your products, learn how to play? What links or good advice do you have for us on that?
Yeah, so I will say, like, if you want to learn Mahjong, it's definitely not something you go and Google. It's hard. It's kind of hard to learn. I would say it takes 2 classes, like 2 lessons of like 2 hours each. So it's a bit of a commitment. But we have teachers all over the country. So if you go to our website, ohmymahjong.com, and you say find a teacher, it'll show you a US map, and we have over 300 across the US. So what's great is get a group of 3 other friends, commit to it, find a teacher in your area, reach out to them, get a class scheduled. And that's the best way. And then you have your little group that you can play with monthly, weekly, whenever. And then our website, ohmymahjong.com, and our Instagram, ohmymahjong. I give a bunch of teaching tips and tricks through it. So those are great ways, and that's how you can get our product. And then we're on the shelves in stores and Neiman Marcus.
So fun. Well, I love hearing your story. It's so fun to have you come with us. I hope this is just the beginning of a fun relationship where we're all playing on the Tri Delta Mahjong set soon.
How fun would that be? I love it. Yeah, all the chapters have their own set at the house. This would be so fun.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, thank you, Megan, for sharing your story. What a fun story to hear from today. I love hearing sisters come and share their stories. There's always the thread of Tri Delta and how it influenced the business. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. So for our listeners out there, now when you pay your Tri Delta alumni dues, you have the option to level up and get even more benefits for your membership. So hope you'll check into that at tridelta.org/dues-and-benefits. Check it out and see what you might be missing out on. We hope you'll like, subscribe, and rate our podcast. We have 3 stars in our Crescent, but we love those 5-star ratings, so keep them coming. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, Delta Love.